I mean, I'm just an average person that has worked hard all our life, ever since I was kind of 17 years of age. And, I've worked hard, I've grown up, I've got my own business and all the rest of it. And I don't see why, I should pay inheritance tax on that. I've paid tax all my life. And just because I did well at it doesn't mean to say I'm not, one of these top rich and famous in the top 10% of the country. I'm just an average Joe that worked hard all her life, and I don't see why I should have to pay it.
Well, Sharon, if you ended up in you could argue, the very fortunate position of having to pay inheritance tax, then by definition you would be in the top 4% of the country, because only 4% of households pay it.
Yeah, but why should I? I've paid tax all my life, so why should I pay a tax again?
But you're not paying a tax. It's the person who is inheriting it who's paying the tax. You're not. You're dead.
So why should they pay?
Because they don't deserve it.
I paid?
You've just said it yourself.
Yes,
you
they do.
No, they don't.
Worked. My son. Why should my son's worked hard all his life?
Yeah, so he gets to keep all his income. So you know what I would prefer? I prefer he gets to keep more. We should increase things like inheritance tax and lower the income tax for your son, so he can keep more of his income as he's working, as opposed to letting his children keep more of his income or stock of income when he's dead.
No, because you're just thinking. No, because I don't see that that's fair. I've paid tax all my life on my money that I've left to him, so that it gives him a better life.
Yeah, but he does. But
why should he then pay tax on that again?
Well, he's already gonna. If you let's imagine that you leave an estate of £1 million, right? And let's imagine you leave that estate with your, I don't know if you've got a partner or whatever, but let's imagine for the sake of argument that you do. That means that £700,000 of your estate, say through your house, he'll get tax-free anyway. It's only 40% in every pound above that threshold. So he's already going to do very, very well. I think in those circumstances, not personalising it, but let's say this hypothetical son is already going to do very, very well, far better than anybody could hope to expect. It's only the state then saying, well, we're going to tax a bit of that very lucky inheritance back, perhaps to help with schools and hospitals and so on.
Yeah, but I've already paid tax all my life on that money towards schools and hospitals and all the rest of it. Why should I pay it again? Why should
Sharon,
he pay it again?
No, because you're not paying it again. He's paying it for the first time.
He would pay it.
Yeah, he would pay it.
But I've already paid tax on that money.
But we don't get to say as individuals, right, exactly where we get to pay tax, right? The whole point is that you're not paying it again. There's no double taxation. He is paying it to receive it rather than you paying it on your working of it.
But I've already paid tax on that money.
But you may not have done. But you may not have paid £1 of tax on it, because, for example, if a lot of people's because they won't, because a lot of people's inheritance tax or their estate comes from house prices, right? House prices that have appreciated in wealth. So if you bought your house, I don't know, one person's bought their house for £100,000, say, I don't know, 1980 or something, and then they pass it on to their son or daughter for £1 million in 2023, they will have not paid tax on almost any of that, because it will have all come from capital appreciation, which isn't subject to capital gains.
But they've still worked hard in order to pay that mortgage.
Yeah, but the mortgage is tiny. They're not getting the mortgage value. They're getting the capital appreciation value.
Not necessarily, because the mortgage,
And what if they haven't worked hard?
Of money for their mortgage.
And what if they haven't worked hard? What if they've just what if that person actually just got a house because they inherited wealth, because their father inherited wealth, because their father inherited wealth? That is the definition of inherited privilege. Someone may have worked hard, 500 years ago, but we've got to keep respecting that.
Yeah, but why would you penalise them because of that?
Well, because it's not fair for other people, because we're trying to create a meritocracy. Yeah, but we're trying to create a meritocracy in this country. We're trying to make sure...
But you also want people to be entrepreneurs and get up and live life for themselves. You don't expect to just have handouts. But
a handout is literally inheritance. That's what a handout is. It might incentivise your son to be more of an entrepreneur if he wasn't receiving 700 grand from you in inheritance. Go and work for himself.
I disagree with that.
Well, that's fair enough. Appreciate your call, Sharon. This will probably get some of you very worked up, but I'd be very happy to increase it to 100% or 90%. I don't see any particular... I'm a believer in meritocracy, and I believe that if you're going to have a meritocracy, you've got to have as close to a level playing field as you can. I mean, life is already so unequal. But when you've got massive estates being handed over to people, your kids who don't deserve it, they've done nothing to deserve it. It's bad for them. It's bad for society. It's bad for other people. It's unjust. So yeah, 100%, 90%, 80%, I'll be perfectly comfortable with that. Why not?